either? Okay, there we go. So this one, losers finals, best of 5, a rematch from winners semis. And we'll see, that one, Deep making a really clutch comeback in that game that looked like it was Zeldafans to take the set after a little bit of shenanigans when they played reverse mains. But it looks like for this one, they're playing all serious. For now, at least. We'll see what happens. Let's see, Zeldafan. Oh, it looks like it was Smashville, not Town. Oh, I think he's outside of the range, though. Yup, and Deep recognizing it, too, going for a different follow-up. Zeldafan, nice and patient, getting out of that. Ooh! Real meaty punish. He knew that banana was going to hit, so he, like, popped in for the dare super early. Deep living, but should be, okay, not quite dead because it crossed up. But that was a hefty punish. Zeldafan waiting for that tornado. Oh, but gets caught at a weird spot, and then the DI mix. It's so hard to know. It's really inconsistent to know which side you'll go out on. But that'll do it. Are you hopping on with me, Mars? Hell yeah. All right. The chat was going crazy for you. What was it? Jiggly buff? You're yoked?
The jiggly buff. You know what? I appreciate that. You know, I do go to the gym pretty often, so, I mean, I'm glad it's kind of showing, you know, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, you look good on camera.
I look good on camera, you know? That's what matters most. But, yeah, I mean, Zeldafan just kind of had my number. There was a lot of times where some edge guards should have been converted, but, I mean, that's kind of the risk you take playing this matchup, is that if you are not willing to wait out those edge guard opportunities, which unfortunately today I was a little more impatient against his Diddy Kong than usual. I mean, there were close games, but I think game 3 he just realized that my game plan was I'm going to run at you and I'm going to try and make you panic option.
Yeah.
He's ready for those.
It really felt super rough, too, because you had a lead all 3 games, and he brought it back all 3 games.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of those sets where you feel like on another day it could have easily been a close game 5.
I mean, you know, me and Zeldafan have actually had close game 3 sets. We've gone game 3 in a best of 3 situation. Unfortunately, best of 5, it looks like I just got rocked, but you know, it was close either way, so me and Zeldafan will definitely probably get another chance at it.
And definitely an admirable performance no matter what, even if it puts you just out of the money. 4th place is really solid at a stacked event like this one.
So I'm cool with how I did today, specifically because it was my seed. So playing to my seed sounds about right.
Oh, I got faked out. I thought he was dead for sure.
Deep got those that DI.
Oh, that'll do it, though. Okay, well, game 1 for Zeldafan.
So yeah, I appreciated Caleb calling me the. Well, I appreciate that the best and most dedicated Puff player in NorCal. I try my best with this character, man. I mean, I try to make the character look cool than lame, because obviously the connotation with the pink balloon is that she's just gonna camp you, and there's not much you can do about it because her air drift is like top 2.
Yeah.
But you know, on the bright side, I'm just happy that I'm able to at least win some sets with her, because, you know, her and I had a long time going, you know, from going 0-2 here every single week to finally taking some sets and even giving some notable players a run for their money. So.
Hell yeah. I was saying while commentating, you've gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
It's funny, we talked, I think we both started playing like right about the same time, a little over a year ago now.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like always really cool to have like other players who are going through similar journeys of growth, because that like feels really nice, and you can see like how good you're both getting. We've gone back and forth in our head-to-heads. I remember winning our last encounter, but I was saying I definitely feel a little bit of fear at the thought of repeating it. So.
It will be a good set for Shirley, at least. I know we've had our game 3 sets, so it'll probably definitely be another one in the order. Oh, it looks like Zeldafan.
Yeah, unfortunate. Weird trade, and those situations are tough because Diddy's recovery, if you're knocked out of it, you don't stall at all when you start it up a second time. And so sometimes you're just in a spot where you like fall faster than the like height the charge gives you in that same amount of time, and so you're just cooked. Like you're just real.
Most definitely.
And that led to an unfortunate early death to Zeldafan, but
yeah. I knew it as soon as I like wasted a good amount of my jumps and I saw the positioning, my air dodge at that very moment. I was like, I'm not going to be able to tech the side on this spike.
Oh yeah,
I was really trying to
tough.
just go left and just try and tech it, but it was just a little far off, and it's also very difficult to get that tech, especially on the Smashville ground.
And Zeldafan was gunning for that dare setup. You saw him trying to read your positioning with those high dares a couple times earlier in the set, and it looks like finally worked out. But
you know, it feels doable, which is great. You know, because I know Zeldafan is soon to be
PR. He doesn't believe it yet, but
he doesn't believe it yet. But when they drop the standings, I think he will have to believe it, because he's been really popping off, honestly, these past 3 months, specifically for the season.
Yeah, I think the like tournament database for NorCal, the bracket with 2 A's, it might be updated for the PR season, which just ended. And I'm sure you could take a look at like players' performance compared to every other player in NorCal, and I'm sure Zeldafan's up there in the top 50, top 30 even. And you know that's like how you get to the PR, because they take a lot of factors into account, not just the raw bracket ratings. So.
Yeah. And the good thing is, you know, I feel like, me personally, I've gone a long way from, like, making an excuse about character matchups. Because in reality, whenever I play a set, I don't think about the character. I mostly think about the playstyle. So if I can try to figure out the playstyle, the character, you know, I could be fighting Sonic. It doesn't matter. I've taken sets off Sonic before, which sounds unreal, but it's doable. You just got to be able to figure out what they like, what they don't like, and then just exploit that. It's a very difficult thing to do in this game.
Nice call out, and that is a game on the board for Deep. This one's proving to be competitive as well.
Oh yeah. All right, Deep is on the board against Zeldafan. So in winners, they decided to go reverse mains, and Deep being able to.
Amusingly, Zeldafan won the reverse main set
did, actually,
and then lost the next 2 games.
I think all it takes is just one mess up on your muscle memory, and all of a sudden it doesn't feel natural to play your own character again.
And honestly, Deep, like, playing against Deep is a real, like, mental battle, too. Because you know he sets up those, like, misfire positions. You know he'll, like, will kill you with that 0 to death. Like, those things, those take a toll on you to be, like, aware of in a full set, to, like, not let that happen to you. And all it needs is to happen once, and then you're like, well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Caleb. But, you know, because I have to understand, like, listen, my character is one of the lightest, you know, probably top 5 lightest in the game. It's very easy to just die to anybody super early, or sometimes the shield breaker is an automatic stock, because Puff has a unique characteristic that if you pop her shield, she dies. She just goes straight to NASA and just literally can't come back. So definitely learning to play Puff has taught me to be a lot more defensive than offensive. But a lot of times people will argue that my playstyle with Puff is definitely not defensive. But when I do have to play defensive, it will definitely show. I definitely had my sets, notably, I think one of my sets against Finest Spoon, we would go the distance, you know.
When you're camping each other.
Yeah, it's scary, because we know that all it takes is one hit and you're dead. But, you know, when it comes to playing Smash, it's just like a fighting game, you know. It's one character versus the other. You just have to figure out what your character is good at and try to avoid what it's bad at.
And it's like one of the folks in chat was saying earlier, like, what was it? Like, Base Mage went to losers in round 2 and made it to top 8. And it's like, if Base Mage can do it with Jigglypuff, like, that means it's possible.
It's doable. And, you know, I was watching some of Base Mage's run at Major Upset, and he was beating players, characters that on paper just looks like abysmal. I've seen... you know, I've seen the Base Mage take a set off a really notable Yoshi player, Adam, and then beat Moxie, beat Cattail, also a really good Toon Link. these are all like on paper losing matchups for Puff, but Base Mage is making it doable because he probably has that same mindset that you have to play around a playstyle in order to win a game.
And it's like, you know, like even with the stuff that's been happening with SkyJ and Incineroar, like like this game as it matures is becoming much less about the matchup and much more about the player and the players who are able to adapt, who are able to build a game plan that doesn't just get rolled, who don't get matchup checked. And you know, sometimes you matchup check your opponent a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like that's how you make it work. Even with these characters that are like traditionally considered not too great.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm actually proud of Base Mage because, you know, obviously being a part of the Puff Court, the biggest representative that we have to do well at a major is Base Mage because he's the more consistent, even on his bad days. He still, you know, does relatively well for a character like Puff. But when you look at SkyJ, you look at Incineroar, you see what that character has done if it's not SkyJ. Doesn't really do much, unfortunately. But when you get a player like SkyJ who just has fundamentals to understand how to win like a lot of neutral.
No jump. Oh wait, he did save the jump.
Okay, nice from deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive when you're able to make a character that people just write off as a loss to look very competitive. And SkyJ doing that at Collision kind of gave some hope to the community of Incineroar players, but also may have caused some silly discourse, you know. I don't know why people think Palu is better than Incineroar. We got to calm down. We got to calm down there. I understand Palu. Okay, Palu struggles to win majors. Okay, but Incineroar's only been to how many top 8s at a major? Exactly.
Yeah, there's definitely... Oh, wow, both of them not quite making it work on those punishes. But Zeldafan with the follow-up. I was saying, though, there's definitely, like, this aspect where it's like Palu is so obviously good that, like, she has a huge player base and is, like, very developed. And, like, people sort of maybe don't consider that in that discussion where it's like, yeah, you know, there is this Incineroar, like, monster savant who's, like, ready to, like, read your soul. And it's like, whoa, doing better than all the Palus. And it's like, well, yeah, but like if you think about the meta share, if you think about the number of mid-level Palus, if you think about like even the number of like top-level Palus at that level, like at a certain point, it's about the player. And if you have a top player who plays Incineroar, if you have a top player who plays Byleth, they can sort of carry the meta for that character, even if they're traditionally not that great.
True. So, I mean, right now, going back to some characters, you know, one thing we don't have many of in NorCal is definitely, surprisingly, Diddy Kongs. And Diddy Kong, we've seen tweaks, we've seen errands, we've seen some very good players make this character look unbeatable. But it's really nice to see that Zeldafan has like kind of taken maybe a couple pages off of those notebooks and just kind of applied it as the Diddy Kong in NorCal to take down, you know?
Oh yeah, he's the best Diddy Kong in NorCal. I'm comfortable saying that.
100%. I mean, he makes this character look like if you whiff, you just take 40, 50 each time.
Ooh.
And you know, then there's Deep, who has that X
Deep
factor.
is ready to fire back. Oh no, is this it?
Wait.
Where's your SDI? Oh nice, he slipped out.
Okay,
and
he slips out. Wait, this is actually pretty winnable. Hold on, we might see a game 5 here. Deep is able to figure out how to get this last stock.
It's tough though, because like Diddy Kong at 0% is losing more, is like more behind than when he's at 40% in this situation. Because that 0 to death, when it's not a factor, you're ready to play your game. And Zeldafan was getting that that punish, that proof